What's happening? What's happening? Everybody out there in podcast world and podcast land. Ha, I ain't said that in a minute. Hope everybody's doing okay out there, man. Doing well, doing great on this Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. Yes, I switched it up on you guys this week. Dropped episodes on Monday and Thursday instead of Tuesday and Friday. But yeah, man, hope everybody's doing okay. I'm doing okay, except for my allergies are kind of killing me, if you can't tell. So if I sound like Gooch Man, forgive me. I took something for it, I promise. But it isn't quite working right now. So regardless, I'm still here for you guys. Today, I'm going to give you my picks for the weekend. NFL football, real NFL football, not this crappy preseason crap with guys who wear number 1, who went to Southwestern Dakota State, who will be enrolling in their school's master's program next year. Real NFL football. It's this weekend. So I give you guys my picks, man, against the spread. Talk about a few of them. Definitely get into Atlanta versus Philadelphia. Should be coming on tonight. Primetime football. Nick Foles gets the start versus Matt Ryan. But let's see here. What was I about to say? Oh, church announcements. If you didn't catch the last episode, go listen to it. Talking about college football, giving you a little recap. I went 2 for 2 with my picks in college football this past weekend. So talk about that. Talk about Nick Saban and his post-game comments to Maria Taylor. Forgive me because I called her Marie Taylor throughout the entire episode. So, and I hate when people mispronounce my name. Or I know my neighbor growing up used to call me Jason. After a while, he just started doing it so much, I just said, screw it. I'm Jason. But yeah, man, if you haven't listened to that episode, go listen to it. But today, I'm going to start off with Colin Kaepernick, man. So Colin Kaepernick, you boy Cap, aka Playboy C, CK, whatever you want to call him, the Capper that he is, pretty boy that he is. He has joined Nike, and he's actually the face of their 30th anniversary commemoration for its iconic "Just Do It" slogan. So, if you guys out there, you know Nike. I mean, you wear Nike, you see in the commercials, you know that their slogan is "Just Do It." So, I guess this is the 30th anniversary of, you know, as far as that being their slogan. So, they're celebrating it. You know what I'm saying? And Colin Kaepernick is one of the faces of it. So, he put out a Twitter post, and the slogan goes, "Stand for something, even if it means sacrificing everything." Whoops, sorry. I mean, believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. I got that wrong. So, of course, you know, all the white supremacists and all the idiots out there on Twitter decided to throw a tirade about this. We all know what happened with Colin Kaepernick and kneeling for the anthem and doing the silent protests and getting basically exiled from the league. We know what went on with that, and he actually has a lawsuit out against the NFL for collusion, basically saying, hey, you dudes got together one day, all huddled up, and decided that y'all was going to keep me out the league, even though y'all got boys like Nathan Peterman starting for your franchise on Sundays. Even though you got guys like Blake Bortles starting for your franchise on Sundays. Keeping me out. So, just a whole controversy, man, with Colin Kaepernick. Now, we can look at this from a variety of angles. The first angle, which I think everybody's pretty much looking at it from, good for Cap. Good for Cap, right? Good for Cap. They are trying to keep him out. The NFL, Not trying, they are. I mean, he hasn't had a job in like 2 years with the NFL, at least with an NFL team as a quarterback. They're trying to keep him out. They're keeping him out, and despite them doing that, this is basically this is a ha moment for him. Like, look, you thought you could keep me away. You thought you could just exile me, but look at me. I'm on TV now. I'm gonna be on the commercials that'll be showing between quarters or whatnot, or between breaks in NFL games. So people will not be able to run from me that easily. I'm in your face. I'm in your face, and I'm here to stay, regardless. So good for Cap. Another way to look at this is you can congratulate Nike. You know, you can say, hey, hats off to Nike. Because this takes a lot of cojones. Takes a lot of balls, man. Takes a lot of balls to do something like this. No doubt about it. Because you know the backlash you're going to get from a lot of racists. Yeah, just go ahead and just call it square, square, circle, circle. Only people who are really mad about this type of stuff is just flat out racists and trolls. That's who makes up the majority of the audience, who are going around burning Nikes and saying that they'll never buy a Nike product again. Which I was listening to Money Jones, and he said something that was kind of funny. He was like, you know, I've seen these people burn Nike gear and burn Nike shoes, but I haven't seen anybody burn a clean pair of Nikes yet. And I must say, he's telling the truth. At least I haven't either. On all these videos and all these Twitter posts, I haven't seen anybody burn up any Air Maxes or anything like that. It's just always these special Kmart shoes or wherever the hell they get them from. No disrespect to you if that's your thing, but I'm just saying, ain't nobody around here burning up no Air Max 95s. But Nike definitely deserves some credit here. No doubt about that. They deserve some credit for what they did. Now, I want us to not fall into the trap of giving them too much credit. And why am I saying that? And I'm not trying to turn a positive thing, a positive message into something negative. I'm just saying let's relax a little bit here. And I'm really talking to the black community too, specifically. You know, let's not act like Nike did this because they really care about the black community and they really care about black people, and that let's not look at this as like Nike saving the black community. Let's not look at it like that. I hope you guys aren't looking at it like that. Let's not look at it like Nike's gonna come into St. Louis and go to North St. Louis and help the poverty-stricken people and put, you know, money into the community to build houses and, you know what I'm saying, to build after-school programs. Let's not look at it like that. Okay? No disrespect to Nike, but they did this because they figured that it would be some type of return, that there would be some type of return on investment. Let's invest this money in Cap. Okay, let's invest this money in Kaepernick, and we should see some return, which they're probably seeing some already, because you got a lot of people out there going out buying Nike shoes and all that. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't go buy Nike shoes. Nike got some good ass shoes. But let's not act like they were doing this to really help the black community. And once again, took some balls because of the backlash that they knew that they were going to get. And this was calculated. Like, they already knew what was going to happen. They knew that people were going to be angry, specifically white supremacists and racists. You know what I'm saying? Like, they knew that was going to happen. And there will probably still be some public backlash that will be ongoing. But they figured that, hey, if we can, make this investment, take the licks up front, that it will pay off in the end, which I think it will. And this is another aspect, that I got to give them credit, as far as what they did. I've always said this. If you've been listening to the podcast for a minute, then I've been on the side of NFL should have put their arms around the players instead of trying to push them away. You know what I'm saying? Like when the whole protester thing was going down and players were kneeling and players were putting their fists in the air and protesting the national anthem, they should have put their arms around those guys. I feel like if they would have put their arms around them, then the same thing that Nike is betting on would have happened with the NFL, which is, we're going to take some flack up front. There are going to be some people who may not watch the games, and that's fine, because you know what? For those 4 people who didn't watch the game, there are going to be 5 more individuals who are going to take that spot because of what we did and because we put our arms around the players. You get what I'm saying? Like, I felt like they played it wrong. They played it in reverse. They should have went the route that Nike went, if you ask me. Because a lot of people would have looked at them like, damn, they actually, putting their arms around these players. They're actually giving money. They're actually saying, yeah, this is wrong. Yeah, this is wrong for Philando Castile to get his chest blown in front of his daughter for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is wrong. This is wrong for Eric Garner to get choked out in public for no reason at all. So I feel like the NFL has always played this backwards, and Nike's not doing it. Now Nike, I mean, we know them. They've stood by a lot of their athletes, man. We know what happened with Tiger Woods, and he was going through his thing, his controversy, and everybody was pulling out. Nike didn't pull out. Nike did not pull out at all. Everybody else was out, man. Everybody else that Tiger Woods made so much money for didn't stand by his side, didn't support him. They was out, wiped their hands with him, except Nike. So Nike's no stranger to controversy. And, this kind of proves that point. So, congrats to Cap. Hey, man, I'm going to always be happy to see a black guy eating, no matter what. Hey, big ups to Nike. But like I said, let's not make Nike the savior here. Let's not act like Nike's going to solve all our issues and solve our problems and to solve the world's problems, because they're not. They're not. Okay, that's cool. We can pat them on the back. We can congratulate them. But let's not give them too much credit, because at the end of the day, they're in this thing to make money. Remember, I always say, man, one thing about working where I work and seeing the business aspect of things, business comes down to 2 things: making money and saving money. And if you're saving money, you're making more money. So it really comes down to one thing: making money. So they're all about making them dollars. But what they did took tremendous courage. It took some balls. So I got to pat them on the back for that. So shout out to Cap. Shout out to Nike. That's all well and good. But NFL is back, baby. It's back. It is back. None of that weak preseason mumbo jumbo. None of these whack preseason players. None of that crap. Real NFL players. Real football players. Real games. Games that really count. Man, this song is so iconic. Just gives you that 90s feel. Gives you that Dallas Cowboys versus San Francisco 49ers feel back in the day, man. Such an iconic song. You can feel the football just oozing through your speakers, oozing through your headphones. Can't you feel it? I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it and I can dig it, man. So Let's talk about Atlanta and Philadelphia. So Atlanta will be on the road against the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia is a 1.5-point favorite in this game. The reigning Super Bowl champions, they'll be playing without Carson Wentz. He's still recovering from that injury. So Nick Foles gets the start against Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and those boys. Now, in this game, I don't think that Alshon Jeffrey's going to play. I think Alshon Jeffrey's out for this game. So Nick Foles will be missing his number one target. Now, he still has Zach Ertz, and he still has Mike Wallace, he's a new guy, but we think that he could make some plays, especially deep downfield. And he'll still have Jay Ajayi to hand the ball off to. So all is not lost for Philadelphia, even though Alshon Jeffrey won't be there, their number one receiver. On defense, we know what the staple of Philadelphia's defense was last year. We saw it in the Super Bowl with the strip sack on Tom Brady, the defensive line. So the defensive line is pretty much still intact. Got Fletcher Cox and them boys, man, Derek Barnett. They'll be coming back strong, and also with the addition of Michael Bennett from the Seahawks, will be coming back even stronger. Oh yeah, and I'm forgetting Haloti Ngata. Even though Haloti Ngata is pretty much on the downside of his career, he's still a very good player. You put him around those guys, all those younger guys, he'll be a force. So a lot to look forward to as far as Philadelphia and their defensive line. Who knows? They may even be better than they were last year, which is scary. It's just absolutely scary. So you got that going for Philadelphia. Atlanta, the Matt Ryan, the Julio Jones connection. Devontae Freeman, Tevin Coleman, Austin Hooper, Mohamed Sanu, Calvin Ridley, who they drafted from Alabama, looks to be a pretty good playmaker, along with Julio and Mohamed Sanu. And Philadelphia has a really good offensive line, really good defensive line. Atlanta has a really good offensive line. Those guys do a pretty good job at run blocking. They do a pretty good job at protecting Matt Ryan. So should be a good chess match. You know what I'm saying? As far as like the guys in the trenches, it should be something to watch because Atlanta's offensive line is really good and Philadelphia's defensive line is very good. So something to watch. Now, Atlanta on defense, Atlanta's been pretty solid on defense. I think they got better last year down the stretch. So I expect for them to be pretty good in this game. Vic Beasley, you got, what's the guy's name? I forgot his name, the quarterback. It's not Marcus Trufant, it's his little brother, Desmond Trufant. I forgot his name. A lot of good players on the defense for Atlanta, man. So I was really on Atlanta for this game until I read something somewhere that reminded me of Steve Sarkisian. So I forgot that Steve Sarkisian is the offensive coordinator for Atlanta, and I really don't like Sark. I really don't like Steve Sarkisian. I honestly do not understand how he went from, being in rehab for, drinking on the job and showing up to a game drunk and all the stuff that happened at USC, how he went from that to being offensive coordinator for Atlanta Falcons. I still do not understand that. That is a question that still has not been answered to this day. So I don't like Sark. The Atlanta Falcons were like in the middle of the pack last year. They averaged 22.1 points last year. Now, when Kyle Shanahan was there, they were just tearing it up. They tore it up on their way to the Super Bowl, which I still think that Atlanta, to a certain degree, is still getting over that loss, being up 28-3, and not being able to close the deal on not Philadelphia, but on New England. So I'm gonna say, even though I don't feel confident, I'm not as confident as I once was. I still say that Atlanta will win this game, and I think that they'll cover. I just got a feeling Atlanta's going to win this game, man. Philadelphia has a lot going on with the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl. Everybody's gonna be so pumped, so excited. But I mean, they're missing Carson Wentz, and Nick Foles has not played that well. Yeah, he hasn't played that well lately. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, it was preseason, but he hasn't really looked that good. And even though preseason games don't count at all, they do matter to a certain extent. You can't put all your stock into it, but you can put some of them. You can put some of your stock into it. You can take some things away from preseason. So we'll have to see what's going on with Nick Foles, man. You know, what Nick Foles are you gonna get? You gonna get the Nick Foles who was about to quit? You know what I'm saying? A season or two ago? Or are you gonna get the Nick Foles that showed up against Minnesota and showed up against New England? I don't know. I don't think you're not gonna get that Nick Foles again. Yeah, you're not gonna get Nick Foles that's gonna run up the score, who's gonna be in a shootout with Matt Ryan. I don't think that's gonna happen. Like, I don't think there's gonna be no super high scoring game. I mean, I can see it. I can see Atlanta beating them like 24-21, something like that. I can see that happening. You know, maybe even a last second field goal or something like that. But I think Atlanta's gonna win. Just Philadelphia's riding high, and they don't have Carson Wentz. They don't have the number one receiver. They still got that defensive line, but I think that Atlanta will be able to muster enough offense. But Steve Sarkisian scares me. He scares me. He damn near scared me off this pick because I totally forgot that he was still the offensive coordinator for Atlanta. And I think that he's not a really good play caller, and he's not a good offensive coordinator. But I think that they'll be able to weather the storm. Who knows? Maybe Nick Foles will turn the ball over, give Atlanta a defensive touchdown or something like that. So I'm taking Atlanta 24-21. So let's get into next game I got on the list. What do I got? Dallas, Carolina. So Dallas be going to Carolina to play them Sunday late game, and Carolina is a 2.5 point favorite. Now I like Dallas in this game, and I don't know if Carolina will be able to muster enough offense. I mean, we know Cam Newton, and we know what he can do. Keep in mind that Cam Newton has a new offensive coordinator this year, North Turner, and we know how North Turner can be sometimes with his offense. And him being I think he's a pretty demanding offensive coordinator too, and he likes to have a lot of control over things, which I mean a lot of coaches do. But yeah, this is a new offense for Cam Newton, and I think that it may take a little while for them to get into a rhythm. So I don't think that they'll come out hitting on all cylinders the first game of the season against Dallas. Now, Dallas doesn't have Dallas isn't necessarily the 2000 Ravens on defense or nothing like that. But I think that their defensive line will be able to get some pressure on Cam Newton, especially since Matt Khalil, the offensive tackle for Carolina, will be out this game, which if you ask a lot of Carolina fans, it may be a blessing in disguise because he's not that good. And he's another one of those underachieving USC players who was taken very high in the draft and hasn't really done too much of nothing to deserve the contract that he just got not too long ago. So I think that Dallas will be able to put some pressure on Cam and force him into some bad throws. And we know how Cam can be. Cam can be very good, Superman Cam, MVP, dabbing all over the place. And then sometimes Cam just looks pedestrian. I mean, couldn't hit fish in a barrel. Like he can become very erratic sometimes. But when he's on, he's on. When he's off, he's off. And that's just kind of what you gotta accept with Cam Newton, with a guy of that caliber. Because his up is really up, but his down can be really down sometimes. But I think that Dallas will be able to generate some pressure. Randy Gregory, I mean, even though it's preseason, he looked pretty damn good. And he looked like the high draft pick that he was touted to be until the off the field issues or whatever became a problem, and people were scared off about that. But coming out of college, he was a damn good pass rusher. And he was going to be a high draft pick, but the whole marijuana worries and off the field things scared people off, which rightfully so, because he's already been suspended for a year already. So he's coming back. We think that he'll be good. DeMarcus Lawrence playing on that franchise tag. He's trying to show Dallas that he can do it again another year. Now David Irvin won't play this game. The other stud defensive lineman, he won't be playing this game. But, Randy Gregory and DeMarcus Lawrence, I mean, I think that may end up being enough. You know what I'm saying? Taco Charlton, he'll have something to prove from last year, being a first-round draft pick. So we'll have to see how he develops. But I think that Dallas will win this game, man. I don't see Carolina being able to muster enough offense. Now, Dallas, I know y'all like, man, well, what's Dallas going to do? Because Carolina stops the run very well. They got a really good front seven, and they can pretty much do the same thing. But I like Dallas's offensive line against Carolina's defensive linemen. I like them in the trenches better than I like Carolina's offensive line versus Dallas's defensive line. And I think ultimately that'll be Dallas' saving grace. Now, Carolina doesn't have a really good secondary. I mean, to be honest, I really can't even name anybody in the secondary. So they can be had. Dallas doesn't really have anybody who's going to scare you one-on-one necessarily. But I think that they'll be able to make some plays against Carolina's secondary. Zeke probably won't have a really good game. But he'll have a decent game, I guess. He may end up scoring, get to the goal line. But I think Carolina will pretty much shut all that down. But I still think that Dallas pulls this game out somehow, some way. And I think it's going to be because of their defense and not necessarily their offense. Because I think that they can force Cam Newton into some bad decisions, and they can put some pressure on him and, really wreak havoc on the defensive line. So I got Dallas winning. I'll probably say something along the lines of, I'm going to say something like 27-21. Next game I got lined up, Pittsburgh versus Cleveland. So Pittsburgh, who will walk into this game without Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell still sitting out, still holding out, whatever you want to call it. He has not reported to the team. Ain't no telling when he's going to report to the team. He may not ever report to the team. So, Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Cleveland's a 4-point underdog. Pittsburgh, 4-point favorite, obviously. And I think that Pittsburgh's going to end up covering this game. I don't know what to expect out of Cleveland. Like, at first, I was on Cleveland as far as being able to cover this game because I like their offense. I like what they've done on offense. I like Tyrod Taylor. Josh Gordon will be back. I like their backfield. Obviously, Nick Chubb, that's my guy. Carlos Hyde, Duke Johnson Jr. You got the tight end, athletic tight end, Njoku, David Njoku. I don't know if Antonio Callaway is – I don't know what the status of – his whole situation is, but I think he'll play. I haven't heard anything about him being suspended, so I guess he'll play. Jarvis Landry will for sure be out there. So Cleveland has a lot of playmakers on offense, and I like the fact that Hugh Jackson and Todd Haley are commanding the offense. Todd Haley's the offensive coordinator. Even though Hugh Jackson's the head coach, I gotta believe that he still has his foot in the offense in some shape, form, or fashion. So I like that. Not really a big fan of the defense. I like some of the moves that they made, but it's just I got to see if they can really gel together before I'm ready to say that they will be able to hold Pittsburgh. Now, Pittsburgh, you can look at it like this, like no more Todd Haley. We got to see how they're going to look without Todd Haley. Now, they got Ben Roethlisberger. We know that. They don't have Le'Veon Bell. They don't have the third part of that trio. You know what I'm saying? They got Antonio Brown. They got Ben Roethlisberger, but they don't have Le'Veon Bell. How are they going to do with the backup running back? So, I still think that Pittsburgh will cover this spread. And I'm not that confident about it because I really like Cleveland on offense. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a shootout because Pittsburgh's been drafting defensive players for a long time. I think I forgot what the metric is, what the number is, but they pretty much spent first round draft picks on defensive players for like the last 4 years or something like that. Like they've been going hard at defensive players. And they really haven't reaped the benefits of it like they have on offense. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was a shootout. But the division games are just tough, man, because you just never know. They seem so easy. Like you look at this, you're like Pittsburgh, Cleveland. Cleveland 0-16 last year. You know how Cleveland gets down. You know that the franchise has been in the gutter for a while now. And they are just guaranteed to lose like 12 games every season. Or guaranteed to lose like 13 games every season. You look at it and you're like, yeah, of course Pittsburgh can cover. Yeah, they can cover 4-point spread. But these games just end up being closer than you think a lot of the times. As far as like divisional matchups. So I like Pittsburgh in this game though. I think that Pittsburgh will be able to cover that spread. Like I said, not that confident, but I got to see what Cleveland can do first before I'm ready to really hop on them like that as far as like betting against the spread. Now, I know you guys are like, Justin, you've been talking about Cleveland all offseason, how you like them. Yes, I still like them. I like them. I like them going forward. I like them in this. That's what I'm saying. Like it may end up being a shootout. It may end up being a shootout. But I have more confidence in Pittsburgh than Cleveland. So I'm going to pick Pittsburgh to cover, man. So I got Pittsburgh winning 31-27. Let's see here. Jacksonville and New York. So Jacksonville and New York Giants. This is the last one. Jalen Ramsey versus Odell Beckham, man. Get your popcorn ready. That secondary of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Your boy Jalen Ramsey, my boy. You know what I'm saying? Talking reckless. Talking about quarterbacks. Talking about Eli. Talking about everybody. Flacco, Stafford. He didn't talked about everybody. Your quarterback, my quarterback, her quarterback. Every damn body. So Jalen Ramsey gets to go out on the field and he gets a worthy opponent in Odell. Now, Odell's coming off that injury that kept him sidelined for most of the year, last year. And Odell just got paid. So he's probably feeling a little, on top of the world, which I can't blame him. Get that type of money. Young black guy doing his thing, making his bread, stacking his cheese. You got that. You got Blake Bortles. Jesus Christ. Which, I don't know. I swear, man. These GMs and these owners, I swear, it has to be a matter of, it has to be something with the owner or something with the GM to where they really want to prove people wrong about Blake Bortles. That's the only reason why I think that they've kept him around this long. Like, they have to have some type of personal vendetta or some type of personal goal to show people that, yeah, we made the right pick. Yeah, Blake Bortles is our quarterback. Yeah, we won the Super Bowl with Blake Bortles. Ha ha, in your face, finger point. Because Blake Bortles sucks. And he's gonna hold these guys back this year. In my opinion. I've said that I wouldn't be surprised if he's benched halfway through the season. I would not be surprised at that at all. But Jacksonville, they'll still have that defense, that defensive line. Calais Campbell, those boys. I mean, you look at the second level, Telvin Smith. They just have they just have it everywhere, man. They just have talent everywhere, just oozing all over on defense. AJ Boye. Now they lost Aaron Colvin, who was a pretty good nickel corner last year. Lost him to free agency or whatnot. But I still think that Jacksonville will be pretty solid. And I think that they'll be able to pretty much hold New York and their offense in check. I think they'll be able to hold their receivers in check for the most part. Of course, you got Odell, you got Sterling Shepard, you got Evan Ingram, who I think he could be an X factor. You know what I'm saying, being the athletic tight end that he is. But I expect for Jacksonville to be able to hold their own against the New York Giants and their receiving core. Now, where things get a little dicey for me is Eli. Eli getting old. Eli getting old, man. They've put a lot into Eli. Like, they bought him back. They didn't release him. They didn't trade him like a lot of people thought that they were going to do. A lot of people thought they were going to trade Eli to Jacksonville, to be down there with Tom Coughlin. And that didn't happen. So they decided to keep him. They actually got rid of the guy they drafted, Davis Webb. Well, a lot of people thought that he was going to be the heir apparent. Well, it's apparent that they don't believe that he's the heir. You don't like that. That's that wordplay. So you got that going on, and I just don't know if I really trust Eli. Nah, I don't trust Eli. I really don't trust Blake Bortles. I really don't trust Blake Bortles. I can't believe that I'm about to go Jacksonville here. And forgive me because I did not read off the spread at first. Jacksonville is a 3-point favorite on the road against New York. So I think that Jacksonville will be able to cover. I think that Jacksonville will cover, and I think they'll win this game. I just don't see Eli being able to carve up Jacksonville's defense like that. I just don't see that. Now, New York boasts a pretty good defense themselves. They had the issues last year, but I think that was just an issue for them because they just quit on their coach. I think that they quit on McAdoo last year. I really think that they quit on him. Now, I think that they'll be back refocused this year with Pat Shurmur. They still have some pretty good players on their defense. They still got Jack Rabbit, Janoris Jenkins, still got Olivier Vernon, still got Snacks Harrison. They bought in Alec Ogletree from the Rams. He's a pretty good linebacker. They still got Landon Collins roaming around, safety. They'll actually have to, I think he'll probably be the next person that they take care of. They're taking care of Odell on offense. Now they'll end up having to take care of Landon Collins probably after this season right here, tie him up in a long-term contract. But they still got a lot of defensive players, man. They still got a lot of good defensive personnel. But I just think that Jacksonville will be able to, I think they'll be able to run the ball, and I think they'll be able to keep Blake Bortles out of those situations where they have to really depend on him. You know what I'm saying? To make a good throw or to make a good decision. I think Jacksonville wins this game because of the defense. So I got Jacksonville winning. I'm gonna say 21-17. Got them winning 21-17. And I think that Saquon Barkley would be pretty much a non-factor. I don't think that Jacksonville is gonna let him have any breathing room, or he might have a run, he might have a catch or two, but I think that Jacksonville's gonna do a very good job of containing him. They're gonna do a very good job of containing those receivers. So I got Jacksonville winning that game 21-17. And those are my NFL picks for the week. Sorry, I think I dragged on a little bit too long. I talked a little bit longer than I wanted to. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in to the Cheap Truth, man. I will talk to you guys next week. I don't know. Maybe I'll put out an episode on Saturday. I don't think I'll put out a Saturday podcast in a minute. Saturday phone podcast in a minute with me just rambling. So I may or may not put one out. But as always, follow the social media handles in the description. As always, follow the social media handles in the description. If you want to follow me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. And also, I'll be holding a contest. I will be giving away something. I haven't decided yet, but I will be giving away something. And I will give you the details of that in the coming weeks. So, as always, be safe out there. And I will talk to you later. Peace.